Hey, it's Jordan with TYT Politics here with Emma Vigeland, and we were actually just live on TYT Politics YouTube when the news broke that the Army Corps of Engineers has granted the final permit for the Dakota Access Pipeline. There is typically supposed to be a 14-day notification period where you are to notify all parties involved that approval or non-approval for a project like this, but the Army Corps decided to just waive that. So essentially the company could start drilling, within 24 hours, I'm told. A few things should be said before I fly off the handle. This is the same Army Corps that denied the permit less than a little over 2 months ago. So, seems something radical changed, that it wasn't safe to grant the permit 2 months ago, but now, all of a sudden, it's safe. So, the Army Corps didn't grant this permit. President Trump granted the permit. Because President Trump is an uneducated fool who operates on the gut. He's George W. Bush on steroids. He doesn't give a damn about the environment because his environment is from the sky of Trump Tower. He doesn't care about your children or anybody else's children because his children drink the cleanest water. They drink gold water. He does not care about the economy because he's smart enough to know this doesn't help the economy. This helps private oil companies, Wall Street banks, and the people that put him in office. Hillary Clinton, ineptitude helped put him in office. But Trump was raising money from the plutocrats, not in the primary, but after the fact. And he still is. This pipeline, for the 20,000th time, is for foreign exports. The oil is going offshore. It's not used for domestic energy independence, and it's also not used to create jobs, because pipelines create temporary jobs. Maybe a couple hundred jobs during construction, and that's it. But really what it comes down to is another case of soulless, corrupt, immoral, and evil politicians who don't give a damn about human beings. They don't give a damn about the wildlife that are going to die from the inevitable oil spill. They certainly don't care about Native Americans, sacred land or artifacts. This is to appease the energy industry that lines the Republican Party's pockets as well as the Democratic Party's pockets. And it's a disgrace because whether you're pro-pipeline or whether you're not, most common sense people would say if you're putting a pipeline under the second largest water body in the United States, right under the water, maybe you should have a thorough review process. Don't you think? Well, the environmental impact study literally started less than a month ago. You're supposed to have a full 30-day period just for comments, for people to bring in comments. What Trump's administration did was literally take down the comments page and give an email that you could email the person. So they're skipping the full comments period. They're trying to skip the full environmental impact study. They're basically doing away with it. So that shows you they don't give a damn about the environmental risks. All they care about is ramming this pipeline through. You want to know why? Because Energy Transfer Partners has an estimated $40 billion debt. You know who Energy Transfer Partners donated a shit ton of money to? The new Energy Secretary, Rick Perry, when he was governor of Texas. They also gave a lot of money to Trump when he was running for office, for president, as well as the RNC after Trump became the nominee. They're also, it just came out today, there was a report that Energy Transfer Partners has had 69 oil spills between 2015 and 2016, and that's just the ones they reported. And this is the company that was just granted a permit to drill and put a pipeline under a water source that serves between 18 and 20 million people. And the pro-pipeline idiots who are watching say, oh, you hippie progressives, you guys are going to die too. You guys are going to die too. This isn't about politics. It's about basic facts. In elementary school, there's like 4 basic things you need in life. One is water. One is food. One is shelter. My 4th is sex. And let me tell you something. It's not just Native Americans who are going to get contaminated water. It's hillbillies, it's rednecks, it's Republicans, it's black people, it's straight people, it's all people. Because it's not if this pipeline spills, it's when it spills. And this president doesn't give a damn. And by the way, it's not just Trump. Hillary Clinton never said a damn thing about Dakota Access Pipeline. The corporate Democrats haven't said a damn thing unless it's convenient for them. There's a Democrat in North Dakota named Heidi Heitkamp who's totally for the pipeline. And we have facts, we have evidence that the country is pretty much ready to turn solar and to turn to energy, solar and wind energy. It's not that we can't do it, it's that it's not profitable for the oil companies, because this is big oil's last stand.
And they're going to take down the rest of the country with them, with this last stand. Heidi Heitkamp, why don't you just change your registration now? Because you also voted for Rex Tillerson, who is known as, obviously going to approve this $500 billion deal with Putin and Russia so that we can further pollute and destroy the planet. So Heidi Heitkamp, why are you even bothering to register as a Democrat anymore? Because you're kind of an embarrassment to anybody that associates with the party. So you and your ginger ass can leave the party. I don't really care about it. Secondly, I also want to point out that what you were saying, this water is a scarcity, and it's not just in Africa, and it's not just in poor parts of Asia where people can't get clean water. It's in East Chicago, Indiana, it's in Flint, it's in poor communities around the country, and now it's going to be in Standing Rock. The Missouri River is the second largest water source for this country, and because of greed and short-sightedness and the Republicans being unable to see past the end of their own corrupt nose, which should be long because they're goddamn Pinocchio, they lie so much, they are going to take down this water source in the country with them. Let alone how we destroy the Native American lands, how we basically just push our boot into their heart and just kick them to the ground. Because over and over again, this country has hurt this group of people. This was their land before we came here. And yet there's no remorse. There's no learning from history that the history is going to look back at Donald Trump and what he has done to the Standing Rock Sioux and to the people in North Dakota who had nothing left except for their land. And we're going to cry tears in decades later about how we have treated these people. And you know what? If there's any water left in our tears, we're going to be crying oil because there's nothing for us to drink in the future. And again, the North Dakota corrupt government is an embarrassment to this country. It is completely bought and paid for by oil. Like, we talk about corruption throughout the country, and yes, the federal government is on another level, and we just did a story today about how much money is being lobbied and being used to take over our government and buy our politicians. But if there is a case study for political corruption and crony capitalism, it is in North Dakota. The Democrats, the few Democrats that there are, and the entire Republican Party, which owns that government there, is literally a pawn of the oil industry. There's no other industry in that state, which is around 800,000 people there. So this is what corruption does. It destroys our water, it hurts the people who have the least power in this country, and it's all going to come crashing down on our heads and through our water glasses and water bottles once the American people and the Republicans wake up and get their head out of their ass and try to go towards renewable energy. And one last thing. This is a case study in how the big oil and big money determines and frames the conversation. So I've said this before. On election day, I saw CNN's election coverage being sponsored by Vote for Energy. That is an American Petroleum Institute initiative, meaning that there's a reason why they weren't talking about DAPL. They have framed the conversation. If you talk to a layman on the street, a lot of people just say, but it'll create jobs. I feel bad for the Native Americans, but it'll create jobs. This is a dereliction of duty by the media. They're calling it even when it's not. And this is the result of media not calling things like they are and just kowtowing to their corporate donors and their corporate interests. It's an embarrassment. It's a failure of institutions. That's why the Native American people in Standing Rock are being screwed over right now.
And let me remind you on a few critical things, because apparently the people in Bismarck, North Dakota, I'm not attacking the fine people of Bismarck, but because the media there is corrupt and doesn't report what's actually going on. This pipeline was originally routed through Bismarck, which is the main city in that area of North Dakota. It's a white city, white and conservative. When the people in Bismarck said, hell no, you're not putting a pipeline through our city, like that, it was rerouted just arbitrarily to the Standing Rock Sioux reservation. I wonder when fracking's going to come to this reservation, because they didn't arbitrarily move it to this reservation. There's a lot of oil underneath native reservations. Secondly, I'll give Donald Trump one thing. The Democrats, Hillary Clinton, they try to subtly hide their corruption. He don't give a fuck. He is invested in this pipeline. The media keeps reporting he sold his shares in Energy Transfer Partners. Well, I haven't seen his stock portfolio, have you? I haven't seen his taxes, have you? There's no proof that he sold his share in Energy Transfer Partners. He's also invested in a company called Phillips 66, which owns 25% of this pipeline. When his spokesperson was asked if he still has investments in that, she wouldn't answer. You know who else is heavily invested in the Dakota Access Pipeline? Obama's patron saint of plutocracy, Warren Buffett, who is the largest shareholder in Phillips 66, which owns 25% of this pipeline. Have you heard anything about Warren Buffett and his investment in this? No, because CNBC and all media are too busy blowing Warren Buffett. Well, not literally, he's kind of old. But you get my point. It's not just Republican, it's Warren Buffett, it's Hillary Clinton, who didn't say anything about it. Again, nothing from Chuck Schumer, nothing from Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, they'll release a statement today, outraged. Were they doing anything when it mattered? Hell no. Neither was Elizabeth Warren. I'm not even going to bother with the Republicans because we know they're bought off, and they don't serve platitudes up that they're for us. There's another thing. This, I want to make it very, very clear. Yes, this is about Native Americans, but they don't give a damn about anybody. They are literally putting pipelines through in America near elementary schools. I've gotten messages about that. This is like some really like wicked, like evil, horror, like movie kind of evil. It's not just the Native Americans. They're putting pipelines in every community, not just poor communities now, because it's big oil's last stand. And when you demonstrate, whether you protest, you're called an agitator by Republican governments, or you're called hippies, or O'Reillys, the far left zealots. Well, call us that when you're dead. Seriously, you could say I'm fear-mongering, but go look at the Kalamazoo River in Michigan. That river spilled years ago. People died. So I think what's really telling about this is not just Standing Rock, but the ideology and the sickness in this country. Because conservatives, and frankly, wealthy liberals, they don't give a damn about something unless it goes through their backyard. Case study, I went down to cover the Trans-Pecos pipeline in Texas. This is not a liberal area. It's West Texas. It's about as conservative as you get. And the same company that owns Dakota Access owns the Trans-Pecos pipeline. This one's even worse. It's literally, the pipeline is going under the Rio Grande into Mexico to be liquefied in Mexico and then sold to China. They're using eminent domain to dig up ranch landowners' backyards. So eminent domain, it's supposed to be used for like highways or elementary schools or stuff that actually is a public good. I don't think it's for the public good to sell money to China to make Energy Transfer Partners money. But I interviewed conservatives who 400 yards from their window have a pipeline. So if that pipeline explodes, because that's natural gas, you know whose house is getting blown away? Theirs. And they are living the house. So these people are sick. Trump, besides the fact that it's already been demonstrated, he's signing executive orders, he doesn't even know what's in them. He spends most of his time watching cable news and tweeting. It's beyond evil. I think it's a sickness. And, the trolls will come and I'll get a lot of hate. I don't really care. I've been out there 6 times, all right? I have seen what these native people are made of. These people have been killed, they've had their land stolen, yet they still pray for the people doing it to them. That's what kind of people these are. and you're digging up their sacred land, and you're jeopardizing the water source, not just for them, but for 18 million people downstream. Who the hell are you to play God with other people's water? You know, Kelsey Warren went on PBS months ago and said, you know, we're using state-of-the-art steel pipes and very, very little risk of a break. Well, who are you to risk other people's lives? Meanwhile, the same Kelsey Warren, guess what he's building in the Caribbean? The largest wind farm in the Caribbean. You know, Rex Tillerson, you know, Secretary of State, he joined a lawsuit in 2014 against fracking near his house. Against his house, it's not allowed. Anywhere else, oh, that's okay. This is what Bernie Sanders was running against. This is what all Republicans represent and many Democrats, because they're not public servants, they're public stooges. And until you stand up and you fight back peacefully, just because it doesn't seem like it's going to work now doesn't mean you quit. Until you stand up and fight back, they're going to run you over, folks, because they're not looking to have a United States of America. They're looking to have a United States for themselves.
Couldn't have said it better. All right.
Just an update. I was on the phone 15 minutes ago. The Standing Rock Sioux Tribe is in a meeting right now with their lawyers. They should have a statement out relatively soon. My assumption is they're going to file an immediate injunction against this decision. And the environmental impact study is supposed to take between 6 months and 18 months. Apparently, Trump is so good, he got it done in less than a month. Like I said, there's supposed to be a 14-day notification period where the Army Corps notifies, you know, people on both sides of the decision, and then nothing is done for 14 days. That was waived. So pretty much the company could start drilling as soon as tomorrow. A source in North Dakota told me that right now it's too cold to drill. I'm not an expert to know if that's true or not, but you know, I could go on for an hour about this, but it's really disgusting because, you know, it's not opinion. We know what happens with these oil pipelines, but you know, all we could do is keep fighting, because there's the Sunrise Pipeline now developing in Pennsylvania. You got Trans-Pecos in Texas. You got Sable in Florida. You got the Pilgrim Pipeline up here. I mean, they're building them faster than you could go and protest. So you need to know what's in your backyard, and you need to get your legislator on the phone now, and you need to start protesting now where they are, because until they are fearful for their jobs, they're going to keep doing this, because these people don't care about you, and they don't care about your lives, and they don't care about your water.